Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello my dear friends, this is Dr. Hoda. Today the English lesson for grade 2, we are going to read a Journeys story from volume 2.2. Okay, the title of the story is Two of Everything by Lily Toy Hong. Essential question: what clues help you understand a story character? Meet the author and illustrator Lily Toy Hong. Lily Toy Hong enjoys camping, getting together with her large family, and eating Chinese food. She also loves learning about her parents' native country, China, and its many legends and folk tales. One day, I would love to visit China and explore the land of my forefathers, she says, and maybe discover more folk tales. Target vocabulary: search, contained, startled, odd, leaned, tossed, grateful, and village. Target skill: understanding characters. Tell more about characters. Target strategy: summarize. Stop to tell important events as you read. Genre: a folk tale. A folk tale is a story that is often told by people of a country. Use the genre to set a purpose for reading. Once long ago, in a humble little hut, lived Mr. Hagtag and his wife Mrs. Hagtag. They were old and very poor. What little they ate came from their tiny garden. In a lucky year, when the harvest was plentiful, Mr. Hagtag had a little extra to take to the village. There he traded turnips, potatoes, and other vegetables for clothing, lamp oil, and fresh seeds. One spring morning, when Mr. Hagtag was digging in his garden, his shovel struck something hard. Puzzled, he dug deeper into the dark ground until he came upon an ancient pot made of brass. How odd, said Mr. Hagtag to himself, to think that I have been digging here all these years and never came upon this pot before. I will take it home. Maybe Mrs. Hagtag can find some use for it. Stop and think. Author's craft. What story details do you learn from the person telling the story? Which details do you learn from what Mr. Hagtag says? The pot was big and heavy for old Mr. Hagtag. As he stumbled along, his purse, which contained his last 5 gold coins, fell to the ground. He tossed it into the pot for safekeeping and staggered home. His wife greeted him at the door. "Dear husband, what a strange pot!" Mr. Hagtag explained how he found the pot. "I wonder what we can do with it," said Mrs. Hagtag. It looks too large to cook in and too small to bathe in." As Mrs. Hagtag leaned over to peer into the pot, her hairpin, the only one she owned, fell in. She felt around in the pot, and suddenly her eyes grew round with surprise. "Look," she shouted, "I've pulled out 2 hairpins, exactly alike, and 2 purses too." Sure enough, the purses were identical, and so were the hairpins. Inside each purse were 5 gold coins. Mr. Hagtag was so excited, he jumped up and down. "Let's put my winter coat inside the pot. If we are lucky again, the pot will make 2 coats, and then we will both stay warm." So into the pot went 1 coat, and out came 2 coats. They began to search the house and quickly put more things into the magical pot. "If only we had some meat," wished Mr. Hagtag, "or fresh fruit, or 1 delicious sweet cake." Mrs. Hagtag smiled. "I know how we can get anything we want," she said. She put their 10 coins into one purse, then threw it into the pot. She pulled out 2 purses with 10 coins in each. "What a clever wife I have!" cried Mr. Hagtag. "Each time we do this, we will have twice as much money as before." The Hagtags worked late into the night, filling and emptying the pot until the floor was covered with coins. Stop and think. Understanding characters. Would you agree with Mr. Hagtag and his wife that his wife is clever? Yes, I think she's clever because she had a very clever idea. She put all the coins in one purse and put the purse inside the pot. And so every time she puts the purse with the coins double in number. Morning came and off went Mr. Hagtag with a long list of things to buy in the village. Instead of vegetables, his basket was full of gold coins. Mrs. Hagtag finished all of her chores and sat down to enjoy a cup of tea. She sipped her tea and admired the brass pot. Then, with a grateful heart, she knelt and embraced it. "Dear pot, I don't know where you came from, but you are my best friend." She stooped over the pot to look inside. At that very moment, Mr. Hagtag returned. His arms were so full of packages that he had to kick the door open. Bang! Mrs. Hagtag was so startled that she lost her balance and fell head first into the pot. Head first means zara basal. Mr. Hagtag ran over and grabbed his wife's legs. He pulled and tugged until she slid out onto the floor. But when he looked at the pot again, he gasped. 2 more legs were sticking straight out of it. Naturally, he took hold of the ankles and pulled. Out came a second person. She looked exactly like his wife. The new Mrs. Hagtag sat silently on the floor looking lost. But the first Mrs. Hagtag cried, "I'm your one and only wife! Put that woman back into the pot right now!" Mr. Hagtag yelled, "No! If I put her back, we will not have 2. We will not have 2 women, but 3. 1 wife is enough for me." He backed away from his angry wife and tripped and fell head first into the pot himself. Both Mrs. Hagtags rushed to rescue him. Each grasped an ankle and together they pulled him out. There were 2 more legs in the pot, so they pulled out the other Mr. Hagtag too. Just what use does one Mr. Hagtag have for another? Mr. Hagtag cried angrily. "This pot is not as wonderful as we thought it to be. Now even our troubles are beginning to double." But his wife had been thinking while he was yelling. Stop and think. Summarize. Summarize how 2 Mr. Hagtags and 2 Mr. Hagtags come to be. "Calm down," she said. "It's good that the other Mrs. Hagtag has her own Mr. Hagtag. Perhaps we will become best of friends. After all, we are so alike. He will be a brother to you and she's sister to me. With our pot we can make 2 of everything, so there will be plenty to go around." And that is what they did. The Hagtags built 2 fine new homes. Each house had identical teapots, rice bowls, silk embroideries, and bamboo furniture. From the outside, the houses looked exactly alike, but there was one difference. Hidden in one house was a big brass pot. Of course, the Hagtags were always very careful not to fall into it again. The new Hagtags and the old Hagtags did become good friends. The neighbors thought that the Hagtags had grown so rich that they decided to have 2 of everything, even themselves. It's now your turn. A clever wife. Write a response. On page 452, Mr. Hacktag says that his wife is very clever. Do you agree that Mrs. Hacktag is clever? Write a paragraph to explain your opinion using details from the story. Turn and talk. My favorite thing. With a partner, look back through two of everything. Think about the things that the Hacktags put in the pot on purpose. Discuss with your partner what you think the characters might want to put in the pot next and why. And now we've come to the end of our story today. I hope you liked it. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel and share the story with your friends. Thank you. Bye, dear. Bye.